Okay guys, it's Tom with HakesCrew here. Looks like the Super Famicom and Super NES apps are out now, as of a few minutes ago on the Nintendo Switch. So, sorry I don't have a capture card or anything. I just wanted to show a little bit off of this best I can. Not too easy for me here. Let's see. All I have is a cell phone and no way to can't figure out any way to prop it up the right way I need it. There we go. So, I think it's the same games out in Japan and the US. The tennis game actually might be different. Yeah, this is definitely a different tennis game, because I've played the Japanese version of Super Tennis, and this isn't it. Never played this one. I wanted to do a live video, but I guess I don't have enough subscribers yet to be able to do live videos. I just want to mess around with this for a little bit. Let's see. So there's that. Okay. Japanese version of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. He says something like, "Tom, I'm going out for a while." Something. I don't remember. Something about, something. Oh, okay, this is the guy talking. Your uncle, I think. And then the other part was, I think, Zelda talking. I'll just go in order. F-Zero. I remember when I first got this game, I had a fan blowing on me, and it sort of felt like I was really driving, you know, with the going really fast with the wind blowing on me. That's pretty cool. This is a fun game. I love this game. But that's enough. Kirby's Dream Course, I believe. This is a fun game too. All these games are pretty good games here. Alright. I don't want to draw. We'll just, my name is... One Up. Okay. Looks like I forgot to actually aim. It's been a while since I played this game. Oh, okay. Left and right does that. Alright. Pretty fun little golf game. Okay, let's go. Kirby, get in the hole. No! Get in the hole! You know what? I give up. That's enough of that. Alright, some Starfox here. Should have been using my Hori digital D-pad for this thing. That would have been a lot better. I hate the separated buttons on the regular Joy-Con for 2D games, especially. Any of the old classics. Alright, Starfox. Super EDF. Earth Defense Force. Nice little shooter. The cat hair off my screen. And they made a game with the same name for, I think, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I'm not sure if it's related to this or not. Super Earth Defense Force. One of these shooter games. They're always pretty hard though. Okay, and there's that game. Oh, I already played that one. Super Formation Soccer. I believe this is just called Super Soccer in the US. Yeah, sure. Let's go, let's go. Yep, yep. Perfect. Yep, yep. Yep, yep. Okay, gotcha. Oh my goodness. There we go. I don't care. We'll pick one of these Japanese people. Yeah. I don't know Japanese. It's alright. Not really a big sports fan. Super Puyo Puyo 2. I don't know if there's a Super in it or not, but almost all Super Nintendo, Super Famicom games say Super. The first version of this came out, part 1 came out in the US as Kirby's Avalanche. Part 2 never came out. On the Genesis, the first game came out as Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. But this is the sequel. I'm not even sure if I played this one. More of the same, I'm sure. Just like Dr. Mario or something. Just match the colors and they disappear. Alright, Super Mario Kart. By the way, that game, since it never came out in the US, the puzzle game I was just playing, it's in Japanese on the US version of the Super Nintendo app, which I'll show as well in a minute here. Super Mario Kart. Back on the Wii U, you could actually play almost every Mario Kart out up to that point on one system. Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube. Well, no, you can't play GameCube games on a unmodified Wii U. But you could on a regular Wii. So yeah, on the regular Wii you could play almost every Mario Kart up. You could play, yeah, pretty much every Mario Kart up to that point. So I think, I can't remember what came first, Mario Kart Wii or DS. Because they had the I believe the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy Advance versions were downloadable on there. Okay, Yoshi's Island. I love the Mario games. It's always Mario and Zelda are my favorite series of all time on any system. I don't even care about PlayStation or Xbox, whatever. It's all about Nintendo for me. I never even used to like Sega at all until Sega Saturn was the first Sega system I ever actually played or owned. With the Japanese X-Men vs. Street Fighter games and all the games like that were the first games that got me to decide to get a non-Nintendo system. Once I got the NES, of course I had stuff like Atari and Coleco before the Nintendo, but I was always loyal to Nintendo and never wanted Sega or TurboGrafx, any of the other stuff. I'm not quite as loyal anymore, but I still prefer Nintendo's games for the most part. Super Mario World. The American version of Yoshi's Island, the game I was just playing. Subtitle, it's Super Mario World 2, only in the US. Maybe Europe, I don't know. But not in Japan. Just like this. Subtitled Super Mario Brothers 4, only in Japan. Give me a Yoshi here. Okay. What else we got here? Super Metroid. I believe this is the same game in Japan or the US. Yeah, you can just put the text in Japanese and on either version.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The
Galaxy is at peace. It's always amazing in cartridge systems whenever you heard talking. It's like, wow, my game is talking. So cool. I remember a few NES games that had talking, like Dirty Harry. When you turn the game on, it said, "Go ahead, make my day." And I had the game was messed up one time, and where, you know, the contacts were dirty or whatever, and it would just go ahead. I wish I could recreate that. And of course, the Three Stooges game on the NES, when you start it up, it says it has the Ghostbusters symbol, and it says Ghostbusters 2, and then the Three Stooges come up and say, "Hey fellas, we're in the wrong game," and they talk, and then it switches to the Three Stooges title screen. I always thought that was pretty funny. Thumb is falling asleep. Okay, yeah, let's start the game. You know, everybody's played this game. I know what it's like. Zelda we already did. Joe and Mac 3, they call in Japan, because I think they count Congo's Caper as a Joe and Mac sequel. Only, I believe, in Japan and Europe. Over here it's Congo's Caper, and this is a separate game, not related to Joe and Mac, and this is Joe and Mac 2. Three in Japan, and like I said, and in Europe, I guess. I don't know. Yes. Club some bad guys. Sure. Okay, there's that game. Japanese version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts. These games are always very difficult. Now we have Ghosts and Goblins and Super Ghouls and Ghosts available on the Switch through the NES and Super NES apps. Just need this is Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Just need Ghouls and Ghosts on the Genesis, which I don't believe is available. I'm not sure if it's on the Genesis collection for the Switch. I can't remember. or if the arcade version is available. I don't think either one is on the Switch. Oh, my clothes fell off. Always hate when that happens. And of course we've got, since Halloween is coming up, similar Halloweenish game, Super Castlevania 4, and of course the rest of the Castlevania games. Well, the early ones are available on the Switch through the Konami Castlevania collection. That's pretty cool. This is Demon's Crest, I believe. I think it's a sequel to Gargoyle's Quest. Demon's Blazon in Japan. Demon's Crest in the US. I said I think it's a sequel to Gargoyle's Quest, which was on the Game Boy and NES. I don't think I've ever played it, actually. Sorry for my lousy video quality. Like I said, I don't have a capture card. This is about the best I can do. Just wanted you guys to see these games as soon as possible. I guess I gotta fight this dude. I don't know. I don't want to. Alright. And we're on the last row. Pilot Wings, of course. Yep. Whatever you say, buddy. Got it. Right. Okay, we're gonna do some light plane stuff. Yep. I think so too. That's right. Yep. I don't remember how to play. Pretty sure it's not like this. Oh. Pilot Crash. Breath of Fire. Never was much of a fan of turn-based RPG games. My thoughts, this game came out, it's made by Capcom, but the US version was released by Squaresoft, I guess. Because Capcom thought people wouldn't, they weren't really known for RPG games, so they thought people would like it better if it was from a known RPG publisher. I don't know. I don't remember. We'll go to the American version of that. I don't know how to start it. Okay, Kirby's Dreamland 3. Stupid cat hairs. Let's need Kirby's Dreamland 1 and 2, which were both on the Game Boy. We have Kirby's Adventure for NES on the NES app. Just need to put some Game Boy games. There's a couple on the Castlevania, Contra, and Secret of Mana collections. A couple of Game Boy games, but that's it. Maybe just a handful. Next thing they need to do is the Game Boy app. I know people want GameCube and other newer systems, but I think we should go for Game Boy first. They don't really like to release a lot of portable games on on home systems, although the Switch is both, so who knows. Wii U, okay, so Wii U had Game Boy Advance games, now that I remember. I don't think they were on the regular Wii. And just Game Boy Advance, no regular Game Boy or Game Boy Color on either system. The Kirby games did come out on the Wii on a Kirby collection disc. Rushing Beat, or as it's called in the US. This one is Brawl Brothers. I think the first one in the US. All three of them are called Rushing Beat something. In Japan, some other word after Rushing Beat. And the US ones are in order: Rival Turf, Brawl Brothers, and the Peacekeepers. This one is cool. The American version of this is cool because you can actually play the Japanese or American version on it as a code, which I will show you when I go to the American app. Pretty cool. I like when they do stuff like that. So it's a beat 'em up, sort of like Final Fight or Streets of Rage. Pretty interesting game. Of course, we already have Final Fight on the Capcom beat 'em up bundle, the arcade version, which is better than the Super Nintendo version anyway. Okay, so there's that. Wild Tracks. The American version is called Stunt Race Fx. It's been a while since I played this game too. One of the early Super FX games, other than Starfox, which actually Yoshi's Island uses the Super FX chip as well. Okay, yep. Okay, yep, play, let's go. And when I do the American app, I'm just going to go into a couple of games, the ones that are different or might have a little bit of differences that I know of from the Japanese. Okay. Vroom vroom. Okay, there it is. I'll play these more later, but right now I'm just showing. I just want to show a little bit of each game. Okay. That's the American app. Those controllers are pretty cool. The wireless controllers for the Switch. I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to get those. The NES controllers too. I'd like to get the Japanese ones, but those are kind of tough to get if you don't live in Japan, because you have to be, for both all these exclusive NES and Super NES or Famicom, Super Famicom controllers, you have to be a Switch online subscriber and all that, and it's only available to Switch subscribers, so it's a little bit tough to do if you don't live in the same country of what the app is. So let me see if I remember. I believe it's just BAXY rapidly on the right here. Unlock the Japanese version. There it is. And let's see, I believe it puts you on the option screen. So I think you push down 4 times to exit the options. Oh, I don't remember exactly, but I'm in the game, and the Japanese version within the American version. How great. As you see, all the stuff down there is in English. This is definitely Brawl Brothers with the unlockable rushing beat mode. I don't remember the difference. There's some differences. Some of the characters are, some of the moves are different. Some of the stages are different. There's some minor differences, I believe. And just briefly show the American version. Jellicle. Brawl Brothers. So believe I could just push up one time and then push start to exit out of the... So once you do that code, it puts you into the option screen. And if you want to go back to the title screen and make everything look pretty, you have to exit the option screen, and then you can go back in and actually see what the options say. Matter of fact, I think I'll go ahead and do that now. Let's try this. B-A-X-Y, B-A-X-Y. Okay, so push start. Let's see, push up one time, start. And okay, there, now I'm in. I have cleared it. Cleared the ugliness. And you can see the Japanese version right there in the good old US version. And now if you go back to the option mode, of course you can read everything. Ikari mode, on or off. In the American version, it's angry mode. So I guess that's what Ikari means for the NES and arcade game Ikari Warriors and its sequels. I guess they are angry warriors. I never really knew that. As again, you know, I don't speak or understand or read Japanese. Brawl Brothers. Option mode. The angry mode. I think that means you can beat up your partner or something. I don't know what it means. I forget. But like I said, it's basically the same game. Like, I think the first stage, or one of the stages, is a bit of a maze, and the layout is different on both versions. And like I said, there's probably other differences, the way maybe blood and the way some of the characters' names and the way they look slightly different in each version, but basically the same. Sorry if it's a little bit crooked sometimes, because I'm not looking. I'm recording this on my phone. I don't have a camera or anything yet. Let me Squaresoft. So I've kind of got my phone propped on the bed and looking at the actual Switch screen. Every now and then I'll glance at the phone screen just to see, make sure it's still showing something. Okay, so put in my name. Without that silly Japanese getting in the way. Okay, Okay, and I'm still having trouble starting the game. Choose A. Cancel B. Okay. Wake up, warrior. Disaster has struck. We need the power of the dragon. What are you asking me for? I don't got no dragon. You'll perish if you don't wake up. I guess. The village is engulfed in flames. Everything is burning. Look at this stupid message on the bottom. Go away. And as you see, my phone fell down. No, it's too good to last. There we go. We must go. I can't see. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there it is. Never played this game. I don't want to play it now. Okay, so Demon's Crest, which was called Demon's Blazon on the Japanese version. F-Zero, Joe and Mac, I think it's the same, but it's called 2 in the US and 3 in Japan. So like I said, there's another game called Congo's Caper, which in Japan they call Joe and Mac 2. Okay. Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics. Yep, looks exactly the same. Except I didn't go in there, I don't think. Okay. Same game. So for some reason, the only game that's actually a different game is Super Tennis, and I think I actually figured out why they didn't bring out the Japanese version of the same Super Tennis game. Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Dreamland 3, Pilot Wing, Starfox, Stunt Race Fx, Earth Defense Force. I think it says Super on maybe just on the actual title screen. I think the box just says Earth Defense Force, but I think the actual game has the word Super. I think it's a different logo from Japan, maybe too. I don't know. Super EDF, yes. They're all basically the same. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid. I guess I think they're in alphabetical order, so yeah, I guess it's Super Puyo Puyo 2, which if it came out in America back then, probably would have been called Kirby's Avalanche 2. Super Soccer, I think it's just a different title screen. It's called Super Formation Soccer, I think, on the Japanese version. And just Super Soccer here. I think it's the exact same game. Yep, looks the same. And Zelda is the same. Super Tennis, different game than the other one, which I think is called Super Family Tennis. Never came out in America. I think it came out in Europe called Smash Tennis. But this game is called Super Tennis in Japan and in the US. So when you lose on the American version, there's a little speech bubble, just text on the screen. It says rats on the Japanese version, which I said I think this is the reason why they probably didn't bring it out. Maybe. It says shit instead of rats in English on the Japanese version, in English text on the screen, and also on the Japanese version. Might be another reason why they didn't bring it out. Is see how we got just random names here: Amy, Kim, Matt, Brian. On the Japanese version, I believe they're actual tennis players, or at least parodies of tennis players' names, very similar to real tennis players' names. As I said, this. So if you want to get both games, Super Tennis and Super Family Tennis, aka Smash Tennis in Europe, you have to get both the Super Famicom and the Super NES apps. And just like the NES app, I'm sure there'll be different games that come out. Some games, whether they be games with changes or just different games. Like in the NES app versus the Famicom app, for example. I put them all in alphabetical order, or as close to alphabetical order as I want. I didn't rearrange any of the Super games yet. They're just how they were, which I think were definitely in alphabetical order in the American one. I think in Japanese, in alphabetical order by the Japanese title in the Japanese. But I put them all in order by the US title, even in the Japanese version. Like I said, I make my own order. Like, I call this game Excite Bike 2, since there's an arcade game called Versus Excite Bike, which is a little bit different. So I put it right after Excite Bike. And then I've got the regular versions, and then the SP or special versions where you start on a higher level or with more weapons, whatnot, underneath the same row that game is. 4 in each row. So we got most of the games are the same, but there are a few that are different. Like we just recently got this game here, Vice Project Doom, in the US, which did come out in Japan as well, but it didn't for the actual Famicom. But Twinbee actually never came out here, so we got the Japanese version, as well as Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels and Excitebike 2. Never came out in the US, so they just released the Japanese versions straight over. Star Tropics and Vice Project Doom are two games, for example, that only came out on the US app. And on the Japanese version were other games. I don't remember exactly when Vice Project Doom came out. It was one of that one just recently came out, so I remember it was one of the games in the River City Ransom, or Kunio as it's known in Japan series. This game here never came out in the US, and it's a lot of Japanese in it, so they didn't want to put this on the US app, I guess. We got Vice Project Doom instead. It's a pretty neat little game though. Two of the other games are in this series are on both the American and Japanese apps, and that'd be River City Ransom and Super Dodgeball. Excuse me. And it's some of the games that only came out in Japan on the Japanese app are Clue Clue Land D. It's just the box for the regular Clue Clue Land is shown here, but when you start it, as you see, it says Clue Clue Land. Welcome to New Clue Clue Land, also known as Clue Clue Land D. D for disc on the when it came out on Animal Crossing for the GameCube, both on the Japanese and American versions. It's from the it's the Famicom Disk System version. Again, never. Excuse me. Also, never came out in the U.S. Japanese version of Blaster Master. Adventures of Lolo. It was called Adventures of Lolo in Japan. In the U.S., it was called Adventures of Lolo 2, because we already had Adventures of Lolo 1. So in Japan, you've got Adventures of Lolo 1 and 2, which came out in America as 2 and 3. The first one was called Eggerland in Japan, and Adventures of Lolo when it came out here, and then they went ahead with the American version of the names later on, even in Japan. Ghouls and Ghosts. These two games never came out in the U.S. Fire Emblem something and Joy Mech Fight, I believe. That's Kid Icarus Ice Climber, which has the seal in the game and on the cover, which was replaced by Yeti in the US version. Kirby's Adventure. Super Chinese, it's called Kung Fu Heroes in the US. Zelda 1 and 2, Mario Brothers. Metroid, Mighty Bomb Jack. NES Open, it's called Mario's Open in Japan. Ninja Gaiden. Pro Wrestling, Punch Out, which is a little bit different than the American version. There's no Mike Tyson, or there's no Mike Tyson in either version anymore, but he was replaced by Mr. Dream, which is the exact same as Tyson, but just a different color palette. But in the Japanese version, there's not even, the game ends at the character before him, Super Macho Man. It's like a special contest version or whatever. River City Ransom, Soccer, Solomon's Key, Star Soldier. I made up my own name for this game. It's something that people call it Bumping Sumo or Sumo something. I don't know. I don't remember what the Japanese name is, but I found out that it came out on the Wii, on WiiWare service. in the U.S. and Japan too, but in the U.S. that they localized it and put it, in English, and they called it Eat, Slap, Fight. So I gave my own name to this version. I call it Slap, Fight, something. I don't know. Slap, Fight, Win, or something. I can't remember the name I made up for it. Whatever. So that's why it's under S. Super Dodgeball. Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels, which I'm sure you all know the story. It was called Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan. Too hard for the U.S. or whatever. Never came out until the Super Mario All Stars collection. And then Super Mario, as I call, other people will say this is the real Super Mario Brothers 2, but not me. Super Mario USA is the real Super Mario Brothers 2, which of course in Japan started out as Doki Doki Panic. Mario changed to add Mario characters to it. It's the one where you throw vegetables and stuff, but it's actually my favorite of the NES Super Mario games. So yes, to me it is and always will be, the real Super Mario Brothers 2. Tecmo Bowl, Tennis, Twin Bee, Yi Are Kung Fu,